Any answers?
Artificial intelligence.
This thing called cyber is not just about IT and stuff like that. It's a complete converged issue about us as people and what we do in our business world and what we do in our private life. They're all interconnected, and there are major issues with some of that which we'll cover. Background, my background is ex-government agency for 30 years. I took early retirement in 2008 and have worked in the cyber security space ever since, holding a number of directorial roles and now working with UK security partners to create education for people like your good selves out there who need to get a better understanding of what's going on out in cyberspace. So we're going to start off with a light-hearted video.
That's you. Okay, we can go.
We'll skip that. The bottom line with that was it was a human intervention into a business. They got into all the tricks and everything in the IT, and they started to play an old-fashioned PC game on the window lights. They were lighting up the various windows. Absolutely amazing. They just went in and did that totally off their own back. As I said, cybersecurity is largely a people problem. It's all about information security and how you manage all that. And risk management must be overseen by the board. I assume you're all businessmen, yeah? Based in the UK as well as back home. What's the biggest business here? How many people?
Mine is 23, I think.
So we're looking at SMEs?
Yes, between
Cool.
say 5 to 30 years.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Because you are the ones that are in real danger. Hopefully this one will play. I think the laptop's a little bit old.
Ik zie een school tegen Antwerpen.
Ja,
Insecten.
dat lief?
Ik voel twee insecten op je rug. Kan dat?
Ja, vlinders.
Slovenie voor mij. Een motto. Oranje. Pas erop. Zenit.
Oui, oui, bien.
Je hebt een vriendin. Julie de...
Ja,
Een boeiend liefdesleven. 3, 4...
de vierde, daar zwijg ik meestal over, dus dat weten niet veel mensen.
Hoe is mijn spierskleur? Maison rouge, balcon... Blanc. Ja. Ik zie geld, ik zie transacties, maar kent je rekeningnummer van buiten? Ik denk dat ik het wel weet. Er staat wel negatief op je bankrekening.
Ja?
9, 7... Last month, you spent €200 on alcohol. Vorige maand €300 aan kleding gespendeerd. 8,
Ja.
5 voor een huis dat van eigenaar gaat veranderen. €750.000.
Ja, eigenlijk.
41.
Ja.
Serieus?
Ja, zelfs. Oh my god. Oh man. Ah, ik vind je eng.
Didn't play very smoothly. I think the laptop's a little bit old. But what it shows is that everything you do at home, everything you do online, looking at the social networking, social manipulation of people, is very easy to do. And it's happening every day. And if you're an SME, whatever you're doing outside of work or in work, there are inherent dangers there, because you could be the first step of the chain up to a bigger company, and we've seen that over the years. Equifax was an interesting one, 140 million personal data lost. 3 months it took to find that. They're yet to discover where it came from, but they will have some hefty fines. Lawsuits are all going around. So if you're holding data, which you do, you need to make sure that you're looking after that data. This is Elizabeth Denham, the ICO Commissioner, and she is pushing out an awful lot of stuff on GDPR, the new regulations that come in next year, and that will affect you all, and you will be needing to take steps to make sure that you're compliant. The bottom line is, if you lose data from May next year, you will be fined 20 million euros, or 4% of your annual turnover, if you've not been compliant. And that's a lot of money. And that will put businesses out of business. And the CEOs, company directors, will be held responsible. So you could go to prison if you've lost a lot of data. Lots of issues there. And it's all about people, processes, governance, and technology. It's the whole thing. It's not about the IT desk doing something. Equifax was a patch. They didn't patch, and somebody got through the back door. So you need to consider all those issues. 95% of data losses involve insiders. What's an insider threat? Anyone tell me? Disgruntled employee. Look after your staff. Make sure when they leave physically and electronically. I've known people that have left a business or a company and they've still had a live active email address. So once they've left, they could actually do nefarious things. Happens all the time. We took down the second biggest bank in the States a couple of years ago. It took 4 minutes, and that was through a physical intrusion. We had an actress who had some books, a cup of coffee, someone held the door and let her in. She put a USB stick into the system, and we sent one email from the president about this year's charity will be X, Y, and Z. 98% of staff clicked on it. The other 2% were on leave. So nobody was challenging that email, like being challenged on the door coming in. We weren't challenged when we walked through here today. At the desk, no one asked for any ID. It's absolutely ridiculous. A little story I told this morning. I was in the Bank of China before Christmas giving a threat landscape update to the Association of Foreign Banks. I walked in, went to reception, and they said, "Hi, Graeme McGowan, here to give a talk this evening. Take a seat. Someone will come down and get you." Somebody came down for me, took me up to the boardroom, and left me alone for 15 minutes. Ridiculous. Afterwards, I challenged the banks and said, "How many of you got dedicated staff looking at this thing called cyber?" None of them. They've got an IT desk, you've got people doing all that sort of stuff, but nobody monitoring the systems, except for back in the headquarters. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's very easy. Wireless hotspots, Bluetooth and mobile devices. I didn't do a check today in here, but Bluetooth can be quite dangerous. If you've left your Bluetooth open and I found it, I could send you a malicious piece of code saying, "Hi, this is John, this is my new number, please add me to your contacts." It's that easy to do. Wireless Wi-Fi is very dangerous. Recent survey showed in London alone that 250 cafes like Starbucks, Costa, think they own that Wi-Fi. So you as a businessman go in there with your iPhone, just get a current check on my corporate account for any latest emails. Somebody is sat in the corner with a laptop actually collecting that data. 250 cafes. That's very dangerous. Entry to buildings is a big issue. I talked about the exercise we did with the American Bank. That happens all the time. We did something else with a charity. We were looking at their cyber hygiene, and they're in Millbank Tower in London. And we sent somebody in with some floor plans into the place next door, the vacant offices. And she walked up to the secretary's office and said, "I'm really, really sorry. We're looking at renting the space next door, and I forgot to print off the plans. Could you do that for me off there?" And the secretary was so helpful, really nice and helpful. And she put it into the machine, and she printed it off, and by the time she had it, there was malicious code in the system. That's how easy it is. Big issues at the moment are invoice and payment redirection. and I do a lot of work with the legal profession, conveyancing, and there's a Friday afternoon syndrome where somebody will make a phone call, they're just about to go off to the pub at 4 o'clock. Could you please put that deposit of £70,000 into the following account for X, Y, and Z? Happens every day, mostly on a Friday. Interesting. Phishing and ransomware. This is growing every single day. How many of you have had ransomware? Anybody? Or you think not? We all get phishing emails, and I was recently had an email from Apple suggesting there'd been a spurious transaction on my iTunes account. And I went into my iTunes account, nothing spurious whatsoever. Came back out, shut down the PC, went to a meeting. Following morning, I booted up the PC to check my online banking. I was off on a trip. All my banking money had gone, £3,500 out of my current account. And I rang the bank up and they basically just laughed. I am Director of Cyber Security for X, Y, and Z, and I've just been done. And they looked at all the transactions, around 350, and they were all ranging from £1.50 to about £300. And they looked at the transactions and they said, when was the last time you bought a handbag from this Russian website? What had happened, the email, I didn't click on anything, but there was malicious code in the content. So I moved the mouse over, I downloaded a keylogger. Very simple. There was a big effort going on, about 250,000 emails were sent out. So I know what I'm doing, not. A lot of people don't know what they're doing, and they will have clicked on that. And this Russian gang made a lot of money. And it's a very simple thing to do. The cloud. I'm a nephrophobic. I hate the cloud. Reason being, why would you put people's personal data somewhere that you don't know where it is? Who's looking after it? Who's doing an audit trail? Is it secure? It may be. Amazon have recently been hacked. Lots of data lost. So if you're using the cloud, be wary. Make sure you know where the centre is, who's looking after it, and what the security is. Absolutely critical. It's a continuous cycle. Awareness, education, and training. And you must do that all the time. Do you have any training regimes in your companies? Do you train your staff? Good. You need to do it all the time. With UK Security Partners, we're delivering a range of various courses, accredited courses, but there's a very simple course on there that you could give to your staff, whether that's the cleaner or whether it's the CEO, and it gives them a good overview of what the risks are. Some of the things I'm talking about here, invaluable, but you must keep doing it. If you're a small company, you're working for somebody, or a bigger company, you're a supplier, 80% of data breaches at larger companies are as a result of that supply chain, because they don't think they're big enough. And that is a major issue. They think they're too small.